yourself, a little background of who you are and your journey and how you got here today.
My name is Brianna Hernandez Baurichter. I'm an artist, a curator, and educator. I live in Milwaukee at the moment, but I've been kind of all over the Midwest with arts education and showing and trying to learn about different things with the medium. So as an artist, trying out drawing and installation and videos and seeing how people are handling those mediums in different areas.
Does your mixed heritage influence your work?
100%. So for me, there's just like the essence of a hybrid involved in who I am and everything that I do, and how that can kind of show different things that you normally wouldn't see if you're completely on one side of a perspective. And so it's helped me to be more, I guess, open-minded about what solutions can come with the work and how you can perceive them and how that can take you to a different place with your experience with the work.
Why did you choose to use live plants?
I really appreciate how much they change throughout. And for me, having a very personal experience with traumatic grief, I've noticed how it's changed over time, and it's not just this stagnant one-size-fits-all, this is how grief looks. So in terms of communicating the way that life changes, the way that death changes, and the way that grief changes, I thought it felt appropriate that the work itself would adjust to the environment and I grow a little bit, decay a little bit, and have different forms.
You create via various mediums, including large-scale charcoal drawings, video art, and performance art. How do these mediums best fit to tell your work?
I really just look at what is the concept of the work and what best suits it in that moment. All of it is extremely physical because with the large-scale drawings, I'm having to reach and crouch and do different movements in order to capture things on that big scale. But then with the videos and the performances, my body is literally making the movement. So throughout all of them, it's really how does a physical element work with whatever medium I'm choosing to best communicate the concept.
What can you share about you as an artist, curator, and educator? How do you balance these roles within your practice?
I kind of see them as all relating to each other. They can all help me learn how to be better in each respective area. So as an artist, I can use my problem-solving skills to apply them to, something that's coming up in teaching of maybe somebody has a different learning style or circumstances come up where it's harder to reach somebody. And then as an educator and working with many people's learning styles, I can take that into my process as a curator of how my work and the work that I'm trying to share of other people's can be interpreted in many ways, and therefore what is the best way to present it so that it can be accessible and make sure that the core of what the artists are trying to say is front and center.
How has your art practice expanded your world?
In so many ways. I mean, it's taken me to different countries. It's helped me explore different parts of my own personality and how I think about the world. It's also helped me connect to so many people, either artists or people who are aspiring artists or the general public, and how the work has helped them or shaped them in some way. Getting a chance to use the work to see how other people are facing common social issues that are going on and how they can change maybe where they were leaning towards on something, and having those conversations build new relationships.
How did you feel having your installation here at WPCA and people experiencing this not only in person but virtually as well?
Well, I mean, I love WPCA. This was actually, when I first moved back to Milwaukee, the very first gallery that I came to. I had a friend who was in a show, and I knew nothing about all the changes that had happened in Milwaukee since I left. So I came to check it out, and I was just blown away by the atmosphere. And every time I come, there's so much energy and activity, and people really engage with the space. So I was thrilled to be able to show here in particular, and just to know that even with everything that's going on with COVID, that people could still engage with the work virtually, not only through the tour online, but also the video, having dancers in the space physically interacting to show some of that scale. It really felt like there was still a chance for people to be present, especially people who might not be able to come here anyway, people who live across the country. I can send them the link and see their reactions, because I know that without COVID, they wouldn't be able to see it.
You have recently focused your work around the themes of memory and grief. How has Diablos Muertos impacted your life and your art practice?
I mean, immensely. It's always been very special to me. I've always thought of it as a humbling experience to just very directly look at death, but also not see it as this completely frightening thing that you need to run away from. It's something that can teach you how to live your life in a more fully realized way. And then, my experience losing my mother at a young age, it really nailed that in, that this is something that is very important for reflection and for healing and for honoring your own life as well as the lives of those who are no longer with us. So it kind of just felt like even more integrated into my practice because there was so much alignment already there. It just naturally kind of evolved that way.
You named this installation Aquí Descansamos. Could you elaborate more on this and what does this title mean to you?
For me, it's got a couple different layers because obviously there's the idea that someone is already passed and that's why that there's a grave there in the first place. And so that's often referred to just in general populace as like a resting place, their final resting place. We talk a lot about a deathbed when it comes to end-of-life care and, the idea that you would love to, pass away in your home, surrounded by your loved ones on your bed instead of maybe in a hospital or in, some other circumstances. It's seen as a very peaceful, welcomed way of going, whether or not like all the details are perfectly aligned. So I think about that a lot with those who are already dead, but then also about the fact that we'll eventually be joining them. So it's not just the final resting place of your loved one, it's also eventually where you will be, and that it's not, again, this completely scary thing. It's just a fact, it's a part of life, and it's also in a way symbolic of a reunion. No matter what you believe happens after you die, in one way or another, like you will be there together.
Do you create art for yourself or for a specific community?
Kind of both. So I always start with what do I really need to express about something, because I feel that's a way to keep it very authentic. It's not me trying to think about, well, what does somebody else want to hear? Is really what is coming internally from me that's not some concocted thing about how I should be making work. But I do really want to connect with people, and so I think about what about my work is connecting with a particular group. And so whether that's something with my particular heritage or something with a particular topic, such as like, the caregiving community, I think about those aspects, and then when I figure out which one it's leaning towards, I focus very much on that community and how they perceive the work in a way that could be helpful.
What message would you want to share with the youth?
I mean, I just always encourage youth to be involved with art, and if I can make something that is engaging and pulling someone into my work, and they can see that there are many different ways for people to be making work and interacting with work, and that can maybe either encourage them to pursue whatever they're crafting or how they're starting conversations about different topics, in their bubbles. That's really, I guess, my only message is just that there's many different ways and encouraging them to try them.
Well, that would be it, but is there anything else you would like to share?
I just, in general, really grateful to WPCA for this opportunity. It's been amazing, and I'm so thrilled to say that I've shown here and to know that everybody who's been a part of this community has gotten to see my work through this space.